What's going on, y'all? It's Joe from Petty Fixes, and today I'm back with another video. This is going to be a little bit different also from the last video I posted. Last video was a vlog of me going to see my kids down in Tennessee, but today I'm going to actually be bringing you all a DIY project. Now, I've been wanting to do creative camera shots and some cool glamour shots and video reels and stuff like that for my products that I review, but I'm lacking one key thing. That's a camera slider. I don't have the money to afford a camera slider out of pocket. I have reached out to companies to see if they would send me one for review and that I can actually use and keep, but no one's hit me back yet, so I decided to make my own. Now, I've gotten tons of ideas from different YouTubers and stuff out there who do DIY projects and stuff like that, but I decided to go with one from a channel called Film Riot. And they use a pretty simple thing that you can do, and you can get all the materials and stuff at your local hardware store. Costs less than about 20-25 bucks or so. Me myself, I spent about 21. It didn't take much effort at all, so let me go ahead and show you all what this thing looks like. Okay, so before I show you guys everything, let's go ahead and talk about the parts list. Now, I went to my local hardware store. There's a place called Menards where I live at. And it's like Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff like that, but it's just more laid out. It's laid out prettier, I guess you could say. It's like a high-end Lowe's or a high-end Home Depot. That's the way I would describe it. But pretty much what I ended up going with, the materials I used were pretty much the same as in the Film Riot video. I'm gonna actually link that in the description below. But what I went with was I had to get a hacksaw to cut some metal. I got 2 handy boxes. The handy boxes are like little boxes that the light switch sits in on your wall. It's gonna sound strange until you see it all. I had to get some screws and some bolts. I had to get a MT screw connector. Now, this is a 1/2-inch screw connector that you will need because you're gonna also need a 1/2-inch long metal pipe or 1/2-inch diameter metal pipe, which I'll get to here in a second. Next, I went with a square blank metal cover. Now, the metal cover is going to be used to actually sit the tripod head on top of, and the camera will rest on top of the head, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. And then I got some little padding for the bottom of those handy box things or whatever, so that when you sit on a surface it won't scratch up anything. And then the PVC pipe, the 1/2-inch, they're like these little T connectors. I'll show you what they look like here in a second. Then I got the one with the 1/2-inch metal pipe, about a 5-foot long pipe. You see where my total came out to about $21.46, like cheap. That's pocket change for real, compared to how much you could actually spend on one of these sliders. I mean, they cost upwards $500, $600, $700 if you're really getting a high-end one. But I don't have $500, $600, $700. I had about $40 in my pocket, so this is what I decided to do. Just a little homemade DIY project. Now, the slider's already put together. I'm not gonna do anything showing like the final assembly or like the whole entire assembly process because it's already put together. I've painted some of it and I made some mistakes along the way. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you all exactly what it looks like right now. I'm not gonna do any assembly or anything like that. And I'll go through all the details of what I did when I'm showing you all the parts. Alright guys, so here it is. Now, it looks a little crude and rudimentary, but what you guys need to understand is that this thing only cost me like $20, and I reused some parts from an old tripod. Now, this didn't take much effort at all to do. Now, what you can see here is that I do have, they're sitting on some metal rails, and the slider is actually pretty smooth for what it is. It slides really, really smooth. It takes like no effort whatsoever. And to get those cool little panning shots that you see most people do on YouTube, in their product reviews and things like that, I wanted to be able to achieve that effect also, because a lot of my shots are pretty much done only on a tripod. And I don't have anything to slide across or to sit my camera across like a dolly or something like that, to sit my camera on and just slide it across and get a cool little panning shot. So let's start off with what I did first. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you all what I started out with first. The first thing that I started out with pretty much was the metal. This metal was 5 foot long, so I took a hacksaw, which I purchased also really cheap, like $3 or something like that. I took a hacksaw and I pretty much cut it in half. Now I couldn't find my tape measure, so I used my best judgment to cut it in half, and I was like 3 inches off. Not too bad. So I just sawed off the other 3 inches and made it equal. And after I did that, I actually had went through and spray painted this whole entire thing black. You can't even really tell because I took all the paint off of it, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But once I did that, I took one of these EMT screw adapter things, and I screwed it onto this. Let me flip it over so I can show you all what I'm talking about. They have like a little screw head right there. It's like a screwdriver. And the screwdriver tightens onto this pretty much. It tightens onto this. And I went ahead and I screwed it onto that and screwed it onto this one down here. And then I stuck it inside of here. There's like some little little joint screws that screw onto the back of that of the EMT screw. And pretty much it just holds it in place, pretty much is what it does. And I repeated the process on the other side as well. Now, when it came to making the actual plate, the slider plate, that's a completely different story. So let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, so when it came to making the actual slider plate, here's where things got a little weird for me. I'm gonna back up a little bit, let me zoom out some. Things got a little weird because according to Film Riot's instructions, they require like 2 or 3 extra little steps that I wasn't comfortable with doing, and I was like, well, I could just simplify that. I've actually simplified it, and I took away 2 or 3 extra steps that was not literally required at all. What Film Riot did actually was they went and they took like 2 little towels, like little towels that you can get from like a car store or something like that, like little chamois or something like that, and they slid them actually up in between these little post things right here, like the little T-joints, because the T-joints are below this little plate, and I'm gonna go into detail how I made everything. But Film Riot pretty much took those towels and slid them up under, and it looked really like junky, like it didn't look right at all. So what I did was I eliminated that step, and I actually sanded all these down to the finest grit I possibly could. And it was not shiny at first, let me go ahead and tell you that. It wasn't shiny at first, but man, it's like glossy now, and it's a really, really smooth surface to slide on. You can still hear it. You can hear it, you know, when you slide it or whatever, but I'm not concerned about sound because when I do my sliding moments, I'm gonna delete out the audio, you know, put some music behind it or something like that to get some cool little shots. But pretty much what I ended up having to do was, let me go ahead and flip it over so I can show you all. What you see here is how I made everything. Now, let me go get to where I stand up. So pretty much I took 4 of those T-joints and I screwed them into the base plate, into the little plate thing. You can see it's a metal plate. I did some little painting, but I didn't finish painting up the bottom. I didn't want to really, because it wasn't going to be shown. But I took 4 of these joints, 4 of these T things or whatever, and I screwed them in to this plate. Now, Film Riot had did something where they had one on each side like that. They didn't even do these 2, and they took a 3/4 inch PVC pipe and another adapter and screwed it into that, and screwed it into that like that. It was a really strange, unnecessary extra work pretty much, where you could just have 4 of these and it slides along the thing just as good, if not better, you know, without a towel or anything like that that you would unnecessarily need. So when I did all that, pretty much what I did was I drilled a hole that would fit a 1/4 inch adapter right here. And what I did with that was I threaded it through. Let me turn it over. I threaded it through, and what you can see is pretty much I used a old ball head that I had just laying around. And with this ball head, I ended up having to get a 3/4 adapter or whatever that adapter is that I screw into the bottom of a fluid mount, a fluid head, because I do want some cool little panning shots and some cool little like side to side tilting up and down shots and stuff like that. So I went to Murphy's Camera and I found, you know, some adapters and went ahead and screwed them into there. And from there, pretty much that's what you have. Like it's really nice looking. It's not premium, you know. You can actually mount it on a tripod if I would take an extra step and actually like screw in some stuff through here, through the bottom, like an extra like a little bottom plate or something like that. But that comes to a later time. I actually plan on building a much more premium one to improve on this design sometime later on. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and shoot some sample shots and see what we can come up with. So yeah, guys, that's it. It's pretty easy to make. It's not hard at all to make. As you all can see, I did some little test footage and everything, and it actually turned out pretty good. Now there's some slight jerkiness or whatever, you know, but it's nothing that's extremely noticeable. The thing about that jerkiness is you can always smooth it out with like a little bit of oil or some type of grease like WD-40 or something like that, and you definitely notice a big improvement. I've done it already, and I haven't done any test shots with it yet for you all to see, but it's definitely a noticeable improvement. So yeah, with that being said, guys, if you like what I did today, and if you want to see a more in-depth like construction or assembly of it, you know, with the parts list and everything, I'll do another one. It's not a big problem. It's only 20 bucks. That's all I spent on it. If you all are serious about photography or videography in general, you know, this is a great thing to do. It's a great thing to have. So if y'all like what I did, go ahead and drop me a like on this video. Share this video. It helps get my name out. It helps me bring you out better content. Comment in the comment section below if you all have any questions about anything like that. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this video quits. See y'all later.